Ladies and gentlemen, we are Jekyll and Hyde. I'm Dr. Jekyll, and this is Mr. Hyde. And as Dr. Jekyll, I'm the sensible investor. As Mr. Hyde, he is the wild speculator. But you might disagree.
Well, what I don't do is I don't sit there waiting, for months and months and months and years and years and years for dividends like what you do. That's a great game if you've got the money to do that. But if you're only playing with £3, £4, £5, maybe £10,000, what would be the dividend on, let's just say, like your latest tip?
It's the one that goes against you that keeps you poor.
What I try to do is I try to look at the companies on a fundamental basis and see where the company's going. And they've got to have a good story, they've got to have good management, they've got to have a cash flow, they've actually got to have assets. And 9 times out of 10, they've got to be producing. So I'm not looking at the wombat shit. I'm looking at, the cream of the wombat shit, something that could actually generate profits for investors and traders.
But one false move, one mistake, and you're gone.
It's about cash. It's £50 notes, it's £20 notes, it's £5 notes, it's £10 notes. It's about converting your stock into cash when you're in a position to do so and de-risking.
Well, it sounds good, but market timing is impossible. So they say it's extremely difficult. So how do you do this market timing necessary to get out when you're up and not wake up one morning and find, oh, it's all gone to hell in a handbasket?
But what you're trying to do is you're trying to limit your risk by finding out exactly what's going on within the company.
But most people can't do that because they don't know what they're reading. They haven't got the time to do it.
Yeah.
They might read misleading information. I mean, the real danger is that you get 4 right and then you get 1 wrong and you're back to where you started from, if you're lucky. And the cost of actually doing those trades, because of the sort of companies they are, is really, really high. Now, I would agree that you can trade and make money, but it's a very tricky game, and most people haven't got the nerve, can't afford the risk. Now, yes, you're not going to get rich quick, but
you're never going to get rich, are you? You're never going to get rich. It's
people
impossible.
That tend to speculate don't get rich either.
Yeah.
Whereas if you took a long view and you started early enough, you can take very small amounts of money and make them very large by compounding up at 10 or 15% a year. Now, grant you, it probably takes 10 years to get skillful enough to make those sort of returns, but as long as you're not old and desperate, because it doesn't matter if you are old and desperate, the market won't reward you for that. They'll only reward you for making the right decisions. And it's tough. Getting rich quick normally turns into getting poor fast.
But what we're trying to do is we're not trying to get rich quick. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make money quick. There's a difference. We're not aiming for £1 million or £200,000. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get stocks. We're trying to pick the right ones, the cream of AIM and the cream of the microcaps. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to point people to where the genuine companies are on the AIM and to say, if you're going to take a risk, limit your risk, but go for the best companies out there, and that's what it's all about.
The richest man in the world is an investor, not a trader. And I think investment is where you focus some of your time and some of your capital on putting your money to work. Not many people make money in the markets, which is sad because it isn't that difficult. I don't think many people really want the strain and stress and the risk. Most people can't afford the risk. If you've only got £5,000, I would say invest that in 3 or 4 good stocks and save your money and buy more stocks and look at it over 10 years. Whereas what Dan is saying is this is really for income. You've got £5,000, you could make 2 or 3 in a year. Really? I see that as some kind of purgatory to have to be dropping a large amount of your capital onto one stock. That seems to me to be a torture. Don't you find it torturous, Dan? Don't you find it?
No, I don't know. I find it easy. I don't find it torturous at all. We spend the time and we look at the companies and we find out exactly what the companies are doing. It isn't torturous. That's the game. When you say that, it's very difficult to make money in the markets. It's very difficult for retail investors to make money in the markets because they're being shafted. What I try to do is to try to go through all that and cut through that morass and to point these stocks out and say, these are the stocks that haven't got the bullshit brokers, that haven't got the lying CEOs, that haven't got the pump and dumpers, that haven't got the spin doctors, and that haven't got the market makers that are manipulating the price. You have to research it yourself, and you have to look at it. And if you've not got the time to do that, you can sign up for Jekyll and Hyde, because I've got the time to do that, and you can do what I'm doing.
You see, this is why we've got this newsletter going, because Dan represents what he would call the game. And I represent investing, sensible investing for building long-term, hopefully, wealth. And it can be done mathematically if you sit down with a spreadsheet and work out the impact of a reasonable return, nothing fancy, over 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. The results are pretty stunning. And investing is a very good way to build your capital and wealth.
Knowing what's going on within a company.
You definitely got to know. If you don't know...
Yeah, and that's another point as well that I don't agree with. All this, you know, technical forecasting and reading charts. You know, that's, to me, that's absolute bollocks. Because what people are doing is it's like Nostradamus, you know, they're reading what they want to read.
All those stocks look the same on the charts. I tell you,
nonsense.
you look at those stocks, up like a rocket, down like a rock.
Yeah, but you can't predict that.
Oh, you can.
You
up like a rocket, pretty soon down like a rock.
It's all done with hindsight. And they're saying, oh, this is a Golden Cross double triangle cheeseburger, and this is what it's all about.
Dan, we could talk all day.
Historically,
and we're out of time.
Right,
I'm going to cut you off before you give away all our secrets.
Okay, right. Just subscribe anyway.
Subscribe, and as this isn't YouTube, you don't have to like, but subscribe and get the inside track on sensible investing and Dan's incredible speculative stocks. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.
Bye-bye.